Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, today we're going to be working on this 1967 Ford J car, one of the Sweet 16 original. This casting has quite a few variations. As you can see, we have a blue tinted windows that if you've seen my previous video, I've always talked about that tells us that the car was made in Hong Kong. As you know, the first year or the first few years, the cars were either made in Hong Kong or the United States. This blue tinted windows tells us that the car was made in Hong Kong. If it had clear windows, we could pretty much say that the car was made in the United States. So another way of telling is the underneath of the car. As you can see, we have slotted holes where we can see the axle, and also this car from this year has suspension, as you can see here. Also, it has Hong Kong on the base. So I was saying, the Hong Kong made cars, the most common variation is this one. The white version is the easiest one to find. There are other colors, but they are very difficult to find. So as you can see, I was able to find the white version. I'm going to show you something else. If you're planning on buying one on eBay, these cars have a very weak hinge mechanism here, right? They tend to break. So make sure before you buy one on eBay, ask the seller if it's in good working order. Another thing to look for is try to find a picture where you can see the underside of the car. So you can see I have some old hair here, but that's okay. We're going to clean this car up. So you can see we have the white bearing that tells us that this is a very early version of the casting, most likely made in 1967, released in 1968 for the first year. We'll show you this one. As you can see, I do believe that some of them came with decals. So this one had some decals here for Ford, but as you can see, this one has a broken hinge. Usually the pin is the first one to go, and most likely because the pin might have been too tight here. As you can see, it's supposed to have this little arc here to hold the pin. On this side it broke while I was trying to remove the pin. I do have both pieces, so in a future video, if you would like, I will show you how to repair the hinge on these type of cars. So if we flip this one around, right away you might think it's the same version of the car because we have the slotted here, which is something, you know, unusual for Hot Wheels, since they only use this type of suspension on the first year. But for this casting, there was a lot of variation. As you can see on this one, you don't see the white bearing on the wheels, and that's because this one uses what they call hubcap wheels. So if you can see here, this line here, this part separates and the wheel comes off, and you have a little plastic remaining here, and it functions most like a hubcap. That's why they call it hubcap wheels. A lot of people don't like them. I'm gonna have to include myself there because there are, you know, it's really a pain and the butt to remove these. I'm gonna have to go with the X-Acto knife here and just slowly pry on it very gently, because I don't want to break anything. But like I said before, this is for a future video. One more thing that I wanted to show you, I have here the US version, so I could show you another variation. As you can see, this one opens all the way to the back, and I do have the white bearing here. And as you can see here, the United States version doesn't have the slotted base like the Hong Kong version, as you can see here. So US version cars typically don't have the same chassis as the Hong Kong version. Another big difference, once I open it up I'll show you, in the Hong Kong version the chassis wraps around and comes all the way up here. See, it's all in one piece. On the US version, the base or the chassis is completely different. It just goes up to the corner. So this section here is part of the casting. Big difference on these type of cars. Another variation here, as you can see, we do have the white bearings here, but this model has what they call the, I guess, the bump stop. Here it is. Has that little stick, and where the transmission is on this car, see, there is kind of a slope here, so it stops and it doesn't go all the way to the back. This was their remedy for trying to fix this problem, where it will go all the way to the back and break. So if you get this car, even though you might think it's from 1968, it might actually be from 1969, just because of this. It could also maybe be from 1968, but a later run. I don't recall right now what year they started doing this fix here with the bump stop here, but that's another thing to keep in mind. I'm going to show you something very interesting also on this casting. Put this aside. So this is the US version. As you can see, I already pre-drilled everything. I have a video on how I do that on these type of cars, the Redlines. They are a little bit different from the new models. The little rivet or post is a lot smaller. Alright, so check this out. You open it up. This is the interior. Clear windshields. As you can see, we have a stud here that hooks, let's see if you can see it here, and it hooks to the interior, to the seats, so everything goes back together and it doesn't move around. Now check this out. Look at the position of the steering wheel. Even though this is the US version, the steering wheel is on the right. Kind of weird, right? Now if we take our Hong Kong version and open it up, let's see, you can see the interior is different. And the steering wheel is on the left. So I really don't know what happened here. I don't know why they made the US version with the steering wheel on the other side. As you can see here, they're completely different. And like I mentioned before, check the chassis, how it wraps around. And on the US version, it's completely flat. And as you can see, this car has the split axle here, which is basically impossible to remove unless you drill this apart. Definitely not one of the favorite suspension. So as you can see, I'm gonna try to restore the windshield here, remove all the paint, which on the Hong Kong version is going to be a lot easier since I have to remove the axle or the paint stripper. It's going to eat away at the little white fairing. Luckily on the US version, the base is not painted, so we don't have to paint strip it. Alright guys, so I'm going to remove the paint and I'll give you a closer look at the condition of the casting. I'll be back. Well guys, check it out. Got the car, removed the paint. I'm surprised on how nice it looks. I really thought it was gonna look worse. I guess the enamel paint gives it better protection than the Spectre Flame. As you can see, I also remove the paint from the base or the chassis. So now all I gotta do is I'm gonna polish this, and I was thinking about what color. It is a Ford, so, and I do have that light blue, so I'm gonna be painting it light blue if everything goes well. All right, so see you after polishing the base, so you can see it how I was able to polish it. All right guys, check it out. Still very surprised on how nice everything is coming out. As you can see here, I can, sand it, remove all those little marks, but the truth is you can only see this on camera. With your eyes, you barely can't see it. So, and most of that was from the toothbrush. When I clean it, once I finish polishing, I use a toothbrush with rubbing alcohol, to clean off all that junk left from the polishing compound. But I think it should end up looking pretty good. So for now, we're just gonna paint it, and I'll be back. Alright guys, so as you can see, everything is painted. All we gotta do now is put the car back together, and first thing I gotta do is cut the wheels off, since it's a lot easier to reinstall the axle without the wheels, and it's also a lot easier to remove without wheels. So this got to be the best looking Redlines I've seen in all the cars I've done, but I want to install new wheels. And I'm going to show you a picture of an original. This paint color, it's as close as they come, and it's spray can. I want to put a picture up here of the one I use, and I'm also going to put a picture of the one you cannot buy. They look very similar, but they're not the same. As you can see, one is transparent and the other one is semi-transparent, and it also says on the label It leaves like a semi-powdery finish. So take a look at the drawing in the middle of the can, where one has like a balloon and the other one has like a glass base. So you want to get the one with the glass base, which is the one that's basically completely transparent and it's glossy. The paint is glossy. The other one is not glossy. The other one might give you an effect like the Spectra Frost, but I also made a video, and it's a lot easier just to paint with this color or the original Redline paints, and then use the product I use on that video. If you want, you can go check it out. So for now, I'm gonna speed up video here. I'm gonna show you how to put this together. Well guys, that's how it looked, and this is how it's looking right now. As you can see, I used deep dish type of wheels. I've mentioned those before in my previous videos. That was one of the styles that was available back then. Not all the cars brought them, but I like how they look. And opposed to the flat look of the supposed to be the tire and the wheel. So I really like the deep dish. So here it is. It is the original windshield. Got the detail in the back. I use Tester's enamel paint with a very small brush. So there you have it, guys. Hope you liked it. I really did enjoy making this video, and turns out that the Hong Kong version, this is practically their very rarest color to find this casting. So if you find one, you can make your own. So thank you for watching. Remember to hit the like button. It really does help me a lot. And subscribe and hit that little bell so you don't miss any videos. So thank you for watching, and peace out.